Okay, so let's create. So I'm going to bring this text here. Yeah. So I'm going to increase the opacity. And okay, let's make it white. And I'm going to say, I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to say a mobile onboarding page. On onboarding pages, and a web sign up page. So we are going to design a mobile onboarding pages, which is onboarding page 1, 2, 3, and we are going to design a web sign up and login page and login page. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do now, we want to design for a mobile onboarding pages. Now, what are we going to do? First thing first is we're going to click here, and we're going to come to this place, and we're going to, now, last time I said, if you want to design, you can choose from between iPhone 13 mini to iPhone 14, 15 Pro Max. That's what we're going to use. So all we have to do is we're going to use iPhone 13 mini. So at your level, at the beginner's level, we're going to use iPhone 13 mini. So all I have to do is just click on it. So once I click on it, we are going to drop it here. I have over 11 persons on this file. Wow, too anonymous. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, we have our phone frame here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my phone frame name. So all I have to do is I'm going to change it to onboarding screen 1. Now, this is what I have. So I want to design, let me go and get a random onboarding screen and then drop it. So let's replicate something like that. Okay, so I want to replicate this. So I want to replicate these 3 frame. This is an onboarding screen for a food delivering app, and now we want to replicate exactly like this, and we're going to put it in a phone frame. So this is what we are going to do. Okay, so now I want to replicate 1, 2, 3 screen, but I'm not going to use the exact illustration. I'm going to use my own illustrations. Okay, so first thing first, I'm going to do, so who is clicking on this file? Please leave this file for me. Just be on the file and don't click anything. I don't know who is this. Please, the person should click out. Everybody click out now. Your Figma should be the same way as mine. Your Figma should not be like this. It should be out like this. Your frame, your layers should be this way. Good, thank you. So now I want to replicate this. Now all I have to do is I've used my phone frame iPhone 13 mini, which is the width is 375 and the height is 812. Now I want to replicate this. All I have to do is I will going to click on this. I've gotten my phone frame first. I have renamed my phone frame. Now I want to get this status bar. I don't want to create my own. I want to get the customized status bar for iPhone 13 mini. All I have to do is I have to go back to my home. Now this is a desktop app. This is actually a desktop Figma app. All I have to do is I will have to come to this is how your Figma is actually going to look like. I will have to come to Explore Community here. So I'm going to click on this Explore Community. So once I explore Community, this is how it's going to. So I'll allow it to load. So once it's load, it's going to tell me that I am in a community. So this is how it's going to look like. So this is one sweet illustration animation that Figma did that I so much love. The library, the plugins, the icons. This is so fun that I so much love. So all I have to do is come to this place and then I will type for status bar. So once I type status bar, this is how it's going to come up. All I have to do is just scroll here. Don't scroll from this side. If you scroll from here, just this ones will move. But if you just take your cursor out and scroll, this is where it's going to show. Then you're going to click on show all search results. So once you click on it, this is how it's going to pop out for you. So, and then you now look for iPhone 13 mini. So you can use this one. So this is the one I normally recommend users to use. So this one. So I'm going to click on it. So once I click on it, it's going to open. So here you can see both iOS and Android status bar. So I'm going to open in Figma. So I'm going to, it's asking me to select on which of the teams do I want to open with, because I have a lot of teams. Like I told you, my account is an educational premium account. So it's asking me which of the teams. So I'm just going to open in this collaboration team. You can create different teams, but your teams is just going to be a few persons that can actually use it. Okay. So let's wait for it to load. Okay, it's loading. Now it has loaded. So once it's loaded like this, so it's showing me the whole. Now for iOS, you look at iOS phone. For Android, this is Android. This is Android tablet. This is iOS tablet, landscape and portrait. So what I'm designing for iOS. So because I'm using iPhone 13 mini, so all I have to do is I will just scroll. I'm designing for a white background. So I'll just take on this portrait light mode. So once I click on this, so just click, don't click on the entire frame. Now you can tell that this frame is 375812, which is the same frame as of our own. So all I have to do is just click on only this status bar iOS. So once I click on it, I'm going to right click and then copy, and I'll go back to my frame, and then I will please click out, and then I will right click and then paste it. I think I'll have to take everyone out from this file first. So let's
all the other background work you were doing, I didn't see until when you came here that I was able to see you now.
What background work?
Okay, all the other places you went and picked the file before you brought it to this very page. I'm combining my mobile and my system. So I'm using the system to follow you, using the mobile to watch what you're doing. On the system is not following what you're doing.
Or the system is not following what I'm doing because I am in another file.
Okay.
I was in another file. Yes, I'm going to share the Figma file to you guys. I was in another file.
Man.
So I've given everybody access to view because I want to work and I don't need anybody to distract me. So this is the Figma file. This is another Figma file. So if you could tell, I'm the only one on this Figma file, and I was coming from community. Now you can tell this is a community file that I got this file from community because I needed a status bar. So when I went to community, this is what I just searched for status bar and then picked this particular one. So I'm going to share this particular one, Figma link, to you guys. So this is it. So I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it here. But I would really love you guys to go and check it out yourself on Google, on Figma community. But I'm going to share the Figma link here. So once I share the Figma link, you can have access to that file, but I am no longer on that file because I've gotten what I wanted. So I'm going off. Now this is the file where I'm designing. So I have copied that status bar and I want to paste it now on my design. So once you come, just paste here and then you have it. So you have it. So I'm going to just drag this and bring it in. So once I bring it inside, so I'll make sure that it's actually inside. So once it's inside, I'm going to click on this onboarding frame. So once I clean it, I'm going to turn off the eye to be sure that that status bar is actually inside. And then I'm going to turn it on. And I'm going to click on my status bar. And then I'm going to push it to the align to the top. I'm going to push it to the top. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I want to create an alignment. I want to create an alignment, and you saw how this space have spacing here and this have spacing here. So what am I going to do? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this frame, and then I will come to this particular place called layout grid. I'm going to click on the plus. So once I click on the plus, it's going to show me that layout grid is now visible like this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this place, layout grid settings. I'm going to click on it. So once I click on it, it's going to pop out something like this. And I'm going to click on this grid, and then I will select columns. So once I select this, I'm going to make the count for mobile to be 6. So the count for mobile is 6. Please take note. The count for mobile is 6. For tablets is you can use 4, you can use 8. 4, depending what you're designing. You can use 4, you can use 8 for tablets. Then for mobile, you can use 6 and 8. Okay? Sorry, what am I even saying? 4 and 6 for mobile. And then for tablets, you can use 6 to 8. And then for web, you can use 12, because web is actually bigger than it. So I'm going to drop the text here. Where is that? So I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to say for mobile, we are using 4 to 6. For tablets, I'm using 6 to 8. And then for web, I'm using 12. So all these things are known as count. Count. So for the layout grid, this is, so here I'm using 6. So I'm using 6. And now this count means 1, 2. Now you can see this pink line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are the counts. Now for the gutter is 20. So now this white line now, this space between year to year is 20. You can use a rectangle to check it out to be sure that it's actually 20. So it should give me that it has gotten to the end, and it showing me that it has gotten to the end. So if you check the width of this rectangle, it should show that it's 20. So we can take the rectangle out. So our margin is, our gutter is 20, which is the space between this line here and this line is 20, while our count is 6. Now we don't have spacing now here, and these people, they have spacing here. They have spacing here, and now we don't have spacing. Now that spacing there is called margin. So we can put margin of 25, or you can put margin of 30. So I would like to use 30 on my own. So this is how it's going to be. And I'm going to use 30 for my own. So my margin is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And my count is 6. My margin is 20, the space between this first count and second count. And my margin is 30, the space between the left and the right hand side. Now let's go back to our design. Now we want to create this. Now we've gotten our status bar. So I'm going to turn off this. I'm not going to click on the minus. I'm just going to turn off the eye. So once I turn it off, I'm going to have a white background. And now I want to create this. So the next thing I'm going to do now is going to create my text. So I'm going to get my text T, and I will drop it here. And then here it says quality food. So I'm going to quality food. So I have quality food. So I'm going to place it at the center. Now their own is actually looking bigger, and my own is actually looking smaller. What will I do? I'll have to come to this core text. But before this thing will appear, click on this text and then come to this place. And then I'm going to select my font choice. So we have a lot of font choice that Figma gave to us here. We have a lot of font choice. So I'm going to use urban list. So let's go to, you can search by the font. If you've seen the font somewhere, you can actually search by the font by scrolling up and down to look for the particular font. But if you already know the name of the font, you just have to come here and then search for the font. So I'm going to use this font, and I'm going to increase the weight of this font to be bold. and then I'm going to increase the size to be 32. So you can actually, if you don't see the particular number you're looking for, you can choose to type. So I'm going to use 28, and then I'm going to make this black, not to be main black. I'm just going to reduce just going to use another shade of black for it. So I'm just going to align this quality food to be at the center. So I'm going to scroll up and then click here. So once I click here, and then I'm going to align to the center. Now I have already aligned to the center. Please just give me 1 minute, please. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so once you've aligned this quality food to the center, the next thing you're going to do is, now I want to recreate this. Now what I'm going to do is you can choose to duplicate, Ctrl D, or you can choose to bring another text in here. So the choice is yours. So all I have to do is I'm just going to duplicate this. So I'm going to duplicate this, and this is where I have to turn on my layout grid. So I'm going to turn it on, and then I'm going to place it here. Now their own is actually small, but my own is big. What will I do? All I have to do is I have to reduce this to regular, and then reduce the font size to be, I can scroll and use, let's use 20 for it, and let's use, regular is actually too tiny, so I'm going to use medium, and I'm going to reduce this black to be a bit like gray, and then I'm going to, if you can choose to use their text word to word, or you can choose to just use a dummy text. Now I want to use a dummy text. So what will I do? What will I do? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, and then I'll come to plugin, and then I'll come to manage plugin. So once I click on manage plugin, it's going to take me to this particular place, or you can go to community to look for plugin. But the best is just right click. So right click, come to this word called plugin, scroll down to manage plugin. When you click on it, and then it's going to show you plugin. And then I'm going to look for a plugin that I can use for dummy text. I don't want to duplicate their own. I just want to use dummy text as right up there. So all I have to do is, once this is up, all I have to do is just look for content ring. So this is actually going to come up like this. So it's actually showing me saved because I already have it. But from your end, it's going to show you from community. So it's going to show you from community. All you have to do is, just come to this place, and you're going to click on run. So once you click on run, it's actually going to open for you. So it's going to open. This is how it's going to open for you, and showing you welcome to play, where you can browse and share content with other Figma users, and just use something like that. And then you go to next, you go to next, you go to start. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to click on text. Now I just want to use a dummy text, and now it's showing you numbers, it's showing you first and last name, email address. So I'm just going to use this one. So I'm just going to click on the first line. So once I click on the first line, it's showing me please select a text layer, because now the reason why it's showing, it gave me that error, is because I did not click on any text layer. So now let me click on the text layer. So I'll click on the text layer, and I'm going to click on this dummy text. Now when I click on the dummy text, it just take me, like it just automatically fills in. So all I have to do is just close this. So I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to zoom out, and then I'm going to bring this in. Now the text is actually too much. It's too much. So what will I do? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that, now you could tell that I don't want this thing to cross this line. So I just want it to remain in this line and it should not cross here. So I'm going to reduce this text because it's too much. So I'm going to start from here and then reduce it to the end. Just click here and then highlight and scroll down. And then I'm going to delete it. So once I'm done, this is how it's going to look like. So now their own text is aligned to the center. For my own, everything is pushed to the left-hand side. How do I do that? All I have to do is I'll have to come back here, click on my own text. Now this text is actually looking bigger because I'm using 20. So I'll have to use 16. You can use 18. You can use 18. I love using even number instead of odd number because it gives me this plus and minus easily. So now their own text is aligned to the center. My own is aligned to the left. What will I do? All I have to do is just come here and then scroll to this place, center align. So once I move center align, this is how it's actually going to look like. Now, if you choose to, now let's turn off this layout grid so we can actually see what we are doing. Now, if you want to make the space, this line spacing, maybe the space here and here to be actually plenty. You don't want what Figma is giving you. You don't want this default size. You can come to this place called line spacing and then you can play around with it. So you can just play around with it like this and then you scroll like this. You can choose to make it like this. You can choose, but just make it in a way that is accessible for users. Remember our UI design principle. So, but for here, I'm just going to leave it with the suggestion that Figma gave to me. Now, I want to reduce this color. I don't love the way it's shining so black. So I'm going to scroll up here and then play around with the color and then reduce it this bit. And I want to reduce the black to like the shining of the black, but I want to still remain in the UI accessibility when it comes to typography, accessibility for users. Now, this is okay for me. Now, what is the next thing I'm going to do? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create these 3 dots. How do I create these 3 dots? Now, remember, we've not choose our pattern of colors. Remember, now I'm going to create these 3 dots. So before I will create these 3 dots, I have to move these 2 up. And then let me go and get a color of illustration so that that color of illustration will actually match the color of my these 3 dots called carousel and then the button too. Now, where do I get illustrations for? Now, you can get illustrations from, so you can get illustrations from user story sets on Draw, free pics. You can get from Lotify's. X is not supposed to be here. Lotify's. You can get from maybe Google, random Google search. And you can get from community, random Google search. And you can get from Figma community. So I'm going to select or get my illustration from Figma community. Now, one thing about this story set is you can change the color of the illustration to your taste of color. Same thing for on Draw. But FreePiece, you cannot because it is gotten as PNG. But on Draw and story sets, you can get those illustrations as SVG, which you can change the color. But FreePics, you can get it as PNG. PNG, you cannot change the color, just get that an image. Then for Lotify is animated illustrations, which is gotten in the form of GIF. Is it GIF or GIF? GIF format, where if you drop it on your Figma, it's going to be plain white. But once you go to the prototype, you're going to see how animated the illustration is actually moving around. You cannot change the color because it's a form of GIF format. But I don't know if you can advance your payment that will make you change the color. I'm not sure. But all I know is in form of GIF, GIF format, where you can just play around with your designs. Then for random Google search, just PNG, except you take it to some sites where you can get any of this. Okay. Please, if you're not muted, please muted. I don't know where that background sound is coming from. Please muted. Please. Thank you. I don't know who is the person. Is it Adeze? Please let me mute her. Thank you. It's not showing from my end. I think she's muted now. Okay. So for Figma community, you can get a lot of designs from Figma community. 3D, 2D Figma community. So let's just get a random Figma illustration. So let's just use for Figma community. So I'm going to come back here and then I'm going to look for illustrations. So I'm going to look for illustration. So now this is how I've typed illustration and this is how the results came out. So I'm going to click on files and templates. So once I click on files and templates, I'm going to look for food illustration. So this is actually to me, it's actually very, very difficult to look for the illustration that I want to use. So what I normally do is just to type the particular illustration that I want. So it's showing me no results found. Okay, that's pop up. So I can just choose any of the illustration I want. So this is what I want. So this is all the food illustrations. So now you're just going to make your choice. So yeah, I'm going to use, okay, let's use this. So this is actually a premium icon. Okay, let's open and see. So while you're waiting for it to load, let's go and be doing other stuff. So while we're waiting for it to load, let's continue with our design while we're waiting for it to load. So I'm going to create these three carousel. So I'm going to come here, going to zoom in. So I'm going to design it. So I'm going to get this, place it here, and I'm going to duplicate it here, and I'm going to duplicate another one. So once I duplicate it, I'm going to hold the three of them, and then I'm going to make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, this is how it's going to be, and then I will come here and align to the center. So once I align to the center, this is how it's going to be. Now let's preview the design and see how it's been arranged. So all I have to do is I'll have to click on this onboarding screen one, and then I'll come to this plus icon here, click on this drop down, and then click on preview. Now before we preview the design, let's place this design inside a phone mockup. So all I have to do is I'll come to this prototype here. Now I'll come here. Now it's showing me that it's already in iPhone 13 mini phone mockup because it is the frame size that we are using. But sometimes if it's not in a phone mockup, you have to set it to the phone mockup you are designing for. So you have to use iPhone 13 mini. So once you click on it, this is how it's going to be. So you're going to come back to your design here, and then you have to come here and click on this preview. Okay, so while it has opened, the next thing we are going to do now, this is how it actually looks like, which is so beautiful, which is so clean and well arranged. Then let's go back to our illustration and see if it's actually open. Okay, so this is open. You're going to click here and then get maybe one of the illustrations. So this time around, I'm using an illustration from Figma community. So I'm just going to pick which one am I going to pick? Wow, this is overwhelming. So I'm going to pick this one. So let's pick burger. So I'm just going to copy and then come back to my design, and then I will have to paste, just scroll somewhere here and then paste it. So this is how it's going to look like. So I'm going to come here and see if I can actually take out this background because I only need the image. So this is it, and I'm going to click here. Now it's showing me bugger one. I'm going to take it here out. Now I'm going to delete this. So once I delete this, I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to reduce it. Now I want to reduce this image without spoiling the shape of this image. What will I do? I'll have to come here, click, you can take this out. I'll have to come here and then click on scale, and then I'll have to just reduce it this way. So once I reduce it this way, I can now move it into my Figma. Now, another way too you can do it, then you have to return to this place. Another way you can do this thing is holding your shift keyboard key, and then you can just move your cursor this way. Is another good way. So it's either you come here to scale the image without spoiling the shape and the size of the image, or you can hold your shift to just reduce your image. So I'm going to place this way, and I'm going to turn on my grid to make sure that it doesn't cross the line. So I think this is okay, and this is okay. This is okay, and this is okay. Now we're going to create this. Now let's see what we've done so far. So I'm going to click here and then click on this preview. Now for presents, you can just move this way and just place it this way. I know you've seen something like this on Twitter, where somebody's having full mock-up. So this is the new feature that Figma brought for us early this year. I think so, early this year. I think that should be that January or February time. At the last year, I remember. It was actually so nice. Now you can actually, another way for you to preview your design, you can come here and click on presents, and then to take you to another Figma page, so which is actually good. So this is what we have. Now I just need to take this a little bit up. So I'm going to click here, hold my shift, and then take it up. So once I take it up, it's actually moving. You can be seeing what you're doing. I'm going to hold this too and then take it up a little bit. So then I'll leave it here. Or we can just switch this to here and bring this and this here. Or I can bring this here. Okay, I think I'll have to follow my own pattern. So I think from here it's showing that the lines are too close. So all I have to do, just come to this auto layout here and then increase it a little bit. I think this is okay. You can choose to type it. So I'm going to use 8. So I'm going to put this here, and I think this is okay. I'm going to bring down this image. So once I bring down this image, this is what I have. And then let's create our button. So I'm going to use this pattern of button. So I'm going to get another circle here. I need to drop it here. So this is actually too big. So I'm going to reduce it now to 50. So I'm going to use 50 and I'll drop it here. I think 50 is okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is to create my arrow. So I don't like using this particular arrow line. It's not giving me what I want. So I'm going to use an icon to get that arrow. So what will I do? The same way I got my illustration for this, that is the same way I'm going to get illustration for icon. All I have to do is right click. You can click anywhere out. So sometimes if you right click, this is actually going to come out because you're clicking on a particular frame. Or if you click out, the model is going to come out, or this information is actually going to be small. So the reason why it came out like this is because I'm actually clicking on a layer, on a frame. So if I click out and I do like this, let's see, sorry. It can come like this because I'm not clicking on any frame. So you can actually click on a particular frame, and if you just come out, to just come out this way. So you come here, come to manage plugin. So you come here and search for Iconify. You can just type icon, and different icon sets is going to pop out for you. Okay, so the one I normally use, so I already have, if you check now, I already have this and this on my Figma already, including this one I recently used. I already have this 6 icons saved on my Figma. But you as a beginner or a new user, it's not going to show you save. You're just going to start from here on your own end. You're just going to start from here, including these 6 of them that already have. So just look for Iconify, and then once you click on it, just click on run from your end. And once you click on run, it's going to open up like this for you. So it's going to open up like this for you. So all you have to do is just click here. Now, this is how it's actually going to open from your end, like this. It's going to open like this, where it has different collections of icons. You have which icon you have, so you can just select any. You have Google material icon, it has material design icon, it has material symbol light, material icon, it has carbon. It also has illustrations too. It has feather icon. It has like a package of all the collections of icon that is found on Google. Sorry, that is found on Figma community. So it also has illustrations too. So you can just see them. It has feather, font awesome icons. It has open search. It has even animated icons, something like this. You can see the animated icons. It has an emoji. It has a brand and social. Maybe you're looking for a particular brand that is out there. You just need the icon set. It already has all the icon, and it has flag. You're looking for, maybe you're designing all this fintech app where you have to put a particular number of a content. It also has the flag and the map. For this, it also has the map for archive and unmaintained. It has, yeah, you can look for any icon you're looking for at all. It has the icon. So Iconify is like a package of icon that has, it is a package that has all the collection of icon, included animated icon and emojis and the normal standard and outline icon, maybe tick icon or fact icon. It has all of them. So what I'm going to come here, I'm going to click here and come to, you can come here to search for, you can come here to filter for a particular icon. Let's say you're looking for feather icon. You can come here to search for a particular collection of icon, and you can come here to look for a particular icon. Let's say here, this search bar here is to filter by collection, search for a collection of icon you want. But this particular search is to search for a particular icon. Then the result is going to come out in all the collections of icon. Now, for example, I'm looking for arrow. I'm looking for arrow. So once I click on arrow and I click on enter or search, now it's going to show me all the collection of icon that has arrow. Now I have over 104 icons on all this particular icon. So what you're going to do, if you select on arrow, and now all the collection of icon comes up, you can just look for the particular one you want. So I'm just going to move and look for, so let's select for material design. Okay, let's use feather icon. So once I set feather icon, these are the ones that is going to come out. So if I select, if I click out, this is how it's going to look like. If I click on material design icon, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm going to use, let's see if I can get one that's actually straight. Okay, I think I like this. So I'll just move this here. And then I'm going to close this, and I'm going to take this inside here. So once I take this inside here, I'm going to turn it. So I'm going to turn it. So if you want to set it very well if you want to set, now if you watch, you see that it's not actually standing straight. So all I have to do is just come to this space, this rotation, and then select it to 90 to stand straight. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this icon black color to be white. So I'm going to change it to white. So once I've changed it to white, I'm going to hold the circle and the icon together, and I'll right click and then make it and add auto layout to it. So once I add auto, that is a form of grouping your elements together. So once I add auto layout, I'll just come to this place and then align to the center, because I want these elements inside to be at the center. Now it's time to pick our color. So which color should we go for? So I'm going to pick one color that is visible from this illustration. So I'm going to pick this red color. So I'm going to hold this first circle here, and I'm going to click on my keyboard I, or I will come to this fill color and then get my color picker and then pick my color. So once I'm picking my color, you can take a look at the colors that I'm selecting from here. So you can see the colors I'm selecting. So I'm going to use this shade of red here. So, and I'm going to use my keyboard eye and then select the shade of red. So this is what I already have here, which is this. So I'm going to hold this and then hold this and then align to the center. So once I align to center, this is how it's actually going to look like. So I'm going to turn on my layout grid and make sure that this doesn't cross out. So I'm going to zoom out and then I'll have to duplicate this screen. So I'll just Control D. So once I Control D, this is how it's going to look like. So I don't have to start creating onboarding screen 2 from scratch. I don't have to. So it has already changed. It has already changed the it has already changed onboarding from onboarding screen 1 to onboarding screen 2. Okay, the reason why it turns to 2 is because it's number. So Figma has this way of making, when you duplicate something number 1, it gives you, when you duplicate that number 1, it gives you number 2. You duplicate number 2, it gives you number 3. You duplicate number 3, it gives you number 4. That's how Figma does its work, which is so wonderful. So whatever numbers it wants to give you. So now the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to change this fast delivery and then move this cursor to be at the middle. You know, our own is at the first one, and then change this right up to be fast delivery, change the illustration. So I'm going to come here and then change to fast delivery, and then I'll have to do here, click on this. So now I'm going to delete this, and then I'm going to move this one to center. So all I have to do is when I click on this particular frame, now this particular cursor frame holding the 3 circles together, all I have to do is just come here to this number 1 and then just hold and drag to be at the center so that it will. Now this is one sweet thing about using auto layout. Auto layout will help you maintain this spacing between each element. So that is one thing about auto layout. So this is how it's going to look like. And then I don't have to change this, which is actually okay. So I'm going to get maybe a delivery illustration for this. So now I have to go back to my Figma community. So from this particular one I did not see anything like that. So I'm going to close it and then go back to my community to look for it. So if I want to go back to all those illustrations that I've been using or I've been looking at, I will just come here and click on this back button. So getting an illustration like that is to be very difficult. So I think I'm like this. Okay. So let's look for 3D delivering illustration. So this is actually 2D. So we can just come here and type delivering illustration. Let's see if the information is going to come up. Looking for the right illustration is actually difficult, but not that difficult. So I think I've gotten something that I might need here. So, but this is showing me I have to pay before using it. Okay, so I think this is actually showing me I have to pay before using it. This is actually a good illustration. So I'm going to use this. Okay. This is nice. This is 2D. So if you are using, no, it might not be from Figma community. So if you are using 2D illustration, be consistent with 2D illustration. If you're using 3D illustration, be consistent with 3D illustration. So I think I liked this one. I'm going to use this. So I'm going to open this. So I'm going to open in Figma collaboration. So I also saw one I'm going to use again. I'm going to, while we're waiting for that one to load, there is one I would love to use, like when it comes to the 2-4 cause. So I saw one, I'm going to use that one. Okay, where is it? Let's see if this is actually going to open. If they'll give us access to use it. Let's see. Let's try lock. So it's showing it. So here is pay $9 to get it, and here it's showing. So yeah, let's see. Get free preview. Let's see what to turn out to be. I would love to use this core and this one. So let's wait for all of them to open. Okay, let's see if this has actually opened. And let's see if this has actually opened. Okay, this has actually opened. Let's see this. Okay. Wow. So I don't think I can. Okay, they actually locked it. So I don't think I do have access because it's in form of image. It's in form of image, so you can't get it. You have to make payments to use it. So I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to copy this particular illustration. So let's see. So I'm going to copy this illustration. So I'm going to right click, copy, and come back to my design. And then I'll have to paste. So let's paste outside. So once I paste outside, this is how it's going to look like. Why is it white and black? Okay, it's coming up. Okay. So now I'm going to reduce it to this size. Okay, so I'm back. So my network was a bit bad. So now I'll reduce this. So I'm going to delete this and I'll have to reduce this so it will fit my phone size. So I'm going to bring it in here and I'm going to align to the center. So this is what I have. And I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to turn this off. So now let's preview this and see what we've done so far. So I'm going to preview this. Now, the other way of previewing your design, I don't know, okay, it's reflecting. The other way of previewing your design that I just said while we're waiting for it to load. So this is how it's going to actually look like. So this is how it's going to look like. It's going to show you the phone frame size you are using. And this is the first one. And then you can move here to see the second one. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do now, you can see that this is actually having, like this illustration is standing on its own. And this is actually standing on its own. So what we are going to do, I'm going to hold this illustration here and I'm going to hold this illustration here and I'm going to align. But before you do that, make sure this frame size and this frame size are aligned together. So once they're aligned together, all you have to do is just make sure these guys are aligned together. These are aligned together. These are aligned together. And then the next thing I'm going to do is hold the illustration and then hold this and then align together and align together. Now the next one we're going to design is the last screen. So I'm just, all I have to do is just duplicate this, and then same way we have to move. So I'm going to hold this and then move this number 1 to be at the bottom here. And then I'm not going to use this particular button, and I'm going to use the normal button, maybe get started or maybe welcome. So let's see what they did. Their own is get started. And I'm going to change this to 247. 24/7 words services. So wow, it shows that you can order food at midnight and it will be delivered to you. Awesome. So now I'm going to create my button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this font size of 18, and I love it. So all I have to do is just come here and then click and type get started. So once I click get started, I don't need this space and this space. So I'm going to hug like this text. I'll just come here, click this, auto it, and then I'll put my text together. And then I'm going to place it here. Now I want to create a button just like the way they created this button. So what am I going to do? So once I'm done typing get started, so all I have to do is just, I'm going to hold this text and then I will right click and then I will see add auto layout. So once I click on add auto layout, this is how it's going to be. Now it's going to just align my text at the center. Remember, it's carrying my previous settings. So it's going to align to the bottom, align center. So once you align center, I'm going to just use this our red that we are using. I'm going to click on this, give it a fill color. Now there's no color. So I'm going to come here and give it a fill color. So once I give it a fill color, it's going to be white. But I need my fill color to be this red. So all I have to do is just click here, get my color picker, pick the color, and then close it. And then I'm going to change this gray to be white. So all I have to do is just move it this way to be white. And I'm going to give it a corner radius. I don't love how sharp it is. I don't love how sharp it is. So all I have to do is just give it a corner radius of maybe 10. 10 is okay. And make sure that this text is aligned to the center. And then I will hold this, hold this, hold this, and hold this together. And then I will align to the center. I will align vertical center. So once I align vertical center, it shows that everything is together. Now the next thing I'm going to get, I'm going to look for an illustration that fits in to first course. Let me like illustration of core. So I was saying if this is actually a free pack, I could have just get one of the illustration here that I liked. Maybe I can just get this, but it's actually not free icon. So I'm going to close it and then look for a free icon. So I'm going to close this. I'm done with this. And I'm going to go back to my Figma community and then look for an icon pack that is free or illustration pack that is free. So let's see if we can get core. So I'm going to look for, let's say, illustration. So from illustration, we can actually track what we are looking for. Okay, let's add core. Let's see if this is actually going to pop out something for us. Okay, let's do the word business. Getting illustration is actually difficult sometimes because you need to get the right illustration for your design. Okay, I think I'll have to change. I think I'll have to change this. Maybe Let's see if this one. Okay, let's see if we can get. Okay, if we can't get what we're looking for, we can change the content on that last page. So I'm just looking for a good illustration because I already started with 3D icon. So I just want to continue with 3D icon. So maybe I can just look for another content to use there, maybe enjoy your me or something like that. So I'm just looking for illustration that fits into what I already have there. So I'm going to look for a nice illustration, maybe someone's eating or something like that. But it's going to be a 3D illustration. So I can just come here and put 3D illustration and just look for a random thing and then add there. I'm looking for a free pack illustrations. Remember, I'm using a free illustration. So I'm going to use this code that is jumping up and down. So I'm going to use maybe one of the illustrations to fit my design. So while we wait for it to look, let's just kind of to feed our eyes for something. Yes. Okay, this is the illustration I was looking for. Okay, so I'm just going to use this illustration here. But this is actually like a student illustration. So I think I'll have to leave it and then come to this one. So let's come to library.
Did you?
Please mute. Please mute. Please mute. Please mute. Please. Please mute. Marvelous, please can you who is the person that is actually talking?
It's Shagun.
Okay, Shagun. Okay. Sorry about that. While we continue hustling for a nice illustration. So if you could not see anything on Google Figma community, you can go search
You can use.
So I'm going to use.
What about you use a clock to show the time?
Is the clock 3D or 2D?
Like 3D clock illustration.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so I saw one, and let's see how it turned out to be. Okay, so I saw this. I'm going to remove the background to see how it turned out to be. So I also saw this from Google. I also saw this, and let me try the clock that she said too. Okay. Okay, so I've seen a lot of 3D clock, and I'm going to bring in one now. Most of them are having watermark on it. Most of them are having watermark. So I think I will just have to go with this I have here and just change the write-up here to be enjoy your meal. Because most of the clock are having watermark. So I'm just going to change this to enjoy your meal and then take this out. So let's remove this one background and let's compare the two of them to see which one is actually nice. So this is a clear image. So I'm just going to remove the background. So how do I remove the background from this image? Same way. I know you guys have seen Remove BG. Remove BG is actually a plugin that you can remove the background of maybe the background of an image you want to use in your design. So just come to manage plugin. Once you come to manage plugin, you will remove background, remove BG. Remove BG. So it's loading. My network is a little bit slow. So let's wait for it to load. Now I already have it as a saved plugin. So your own is going to be run. So I'm just going to click on it. So once I click on it, it's going to tell you to set API keys, or it's actually going to tell you to run. So I can't remember the last time I used it. So I'm just going to click on run to see if actually my API key is already set. So let's click on run. Okay, so I think it's already have my API key. Okay, so let me set API key first. So this is where I have to share my full screen so you can see how I can set my API keys. So I'm going to stop sharing and share the whole of my screen so you can see how to set API keys. So I'm going to share again. So just give me a second. Let me share the whole of my screen so you can see how I set my API keys from my Chrome to Figma. So just give me a second, please. Okay. Okay, so let me share the whole of my screen and show you something. So now I want to remove the back. So let me go back to what it's saying. It's telling me to set API keys. So once I click on it, it's telling me go to this is the website and create a free account. So you need to confirm your email. After that, you find your API key dashboard here. So I think I'll go to their website like this. And once I go to their website, let me set I'm going to create an account as a new user. So as a new user and then log in as an old user. So I already have an account there. So all I have to do is just click login, and then I'll have to log in with Google. So once I've logged in, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to, after that, you can now find your API keys here. So next thing is going to click here, and then it's going to take me to my dashboard. So once it takes me to my dashboard, I'm just going to click on this API keys here, and then here is going to show me. Here is going to show me. So the last time I used it was May. So here I'm going to show new API keys, and then create keys, and then it's an API key has been added. So all I have to do is just copy this link, then come back to my Figma, and then add it this way. So once I add it, I'll just click on save, and then API key has been set. So that's how to set your API keys. Very simple as ABC. So let me share back my Figma screen. Wow, I was muted and you guys didn't tell me that I was muted. I said between the first image and the second image, which one do you think is better? The first one image is actually looking shouty. The color on the image is actually looking shouty, while the second one is actually looking good. So between the first frame and the second frame, which do you think is better? Designers in the house, over to you. Do you think this is better or do you think this is better? I can preview so that you make your choice. So let's make preview. Let's make our choice. So do you think this is better or this is better? So which one do you think is better? Over to you guys.
Second one is okay.
Okay, any other person? Any other people on the Figma file? Any other person?
The second one is okay.
Second one is okay, man.
All right, okay. I prefer the second one. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take this out. Delete. I'm going to delete this one. And we're going with the second one. So now you guys are now understanding UI design principles for us. So we have this first one, and we have the second one, and then we have the third one. So this is how it's going to look like. So let's just make a little illustration. So I'm going to leave our inspiration out. So we have first one, second, and then the third one. So you can take this out, and then we have. So let's just make a little illustration. Let's just make a prototype that connects this, and this. So they just connect the 3 screens together. So who is this Auntie Awonko Anonymous? They should please shift. So what we are going to do is now we're going to connect prototype on this. When we click on this, it should be able to take us to the next screen. And when we click on this, on that, it should be able to take us to the next screen. So all we have to do is just come to this prototype here, zoom in, click on this circle, move it to this screen. So you can make it, now you're going to make sure that it's on tap. And the next one is going to be, you can make it dissolve. Now let's start with instant and see what instant does. So once I click here, it just turn. But if I move it to dissolve, and if I click here, you can see, and you can change the milliseconds. How many milliseconds do you want it to move? Do you want it to actually waste time, or do you want it to just move very fast, or you want to make small animation in it? So the choice is yours. So all you have to do is, now let's make this, let's make it times 2. So it's 600 milliseconds. MX means milliseconds. So let's just move it like this. Now you can see, I think I like how it actually moves. You can make it ease out. You can make it ease in and out. So it is in ease out. So if you make it out, it's out. This is how it looks like. So if you make it in ease in, this is how it's going to look like. So if you make it ease out and in, this is actually how it's going to look like. I think it actually confused me before it balanced in my eye. So let's do is ease in back. No, I'm not going with this. So you can do Gen 2. So if you scroll down, you can do Gen 2. So let's take it back and then do it. This is nice. You can do pick. Then let's move to bounce. You can do it bounce. No, this is actually not fine. You can do it slow. I think I'm going with ease out, and I'm going to make it 500 milliseconds, which is actually perfect when I try it out. So I'm going to check it. So move back. Now. So I'm going to click it. I think this is better. So I'm going to come back here and then move it the same way. So when I move it the same way, it's going to carry the previous setting, the previous prototype setting from this screen into the next screen. So if I move here, this is how it's going to look like. So if I just click here, I can actually start from the beginning and then move it this way, and then we are good to go. So we have just created 3 onboarding mobile screen. We just created 3 onboarding mobile screen. I think I actually remove my background. 3 mobile onboarding screen. So this, and we actually did the prototype for the 3 of them. Okay, so the next thing we're going to move on is going to be the web sign up and login page. So do we have any question to ask before we continue the design for the web? Sir.
Hello.
Sir.
Please, to be candid, I'm completely lost. I was just watching like that. I don't know whether this thing is recorded so that I can watch it next time.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Any other question? Okay, so I believe you're actually following. So now let's create a web page. Now we've done for the mobile. So I'm going to put this in a section like this, and I'm going to call it mobile onboarding page, because it's more than one. So the next I'm going to design is for a web. So now for web frame, what do we need for a web frame? We need the desktop. So I'm going to close the model for the phone and go to web desktop. Now for desktop, I'm going to use this desktop frame 1440 times 1024. So that is what I'm going to use. So this is what I'm going to use, and I'm going to change here to the sign up. Now for sign up, I am going to place this here. Now remember for our layer grid, I say for the web we're going to use 12. So for the web, I'm going to come here, click here, click here, click here, click here, and then put 12. For the margin, I'm going to use 17. Okay, and the button is always 20. I don't change this. I don't bother myself changing the button and the port setting because 20 is a perfect number for grid system. So this is what I have for my web. So I'm going to zoom in. Now I want to create a sign up page for a web. So let's go and get an inspiration for a simple web sign up page. So let's get a simple UI sign up page from Google that we are just going to replicate. Okay, so I'm going to look at this. I think I liked this one. So let's look for a clear image that is not blurry so everybody can actually see it. Okay, so we want to design something like this. So I'm going to design this sign up. Okay, this is actually a login page, but we're going to do with our own sign up where we're going to add password and maybe full name, email, password, something like this. So now let's create something like this, but we are going to use a different illustration. So I don't know who is actually clicking on this file. Blessing, should please allow me to do something. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've done my layout grid. Now I want to demarcate this into 2. Okay, so I already have 6 counts here and 12 counts. So I'm going to divide it into 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my other half starts from here to this place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my rectangle, start here and bring it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I already have it. So here is my half and this is my half. So if I come to these 7 OCs and I add maybe times 2 or maybe plus, let's say plus, what am I doing? Let's come here, copy this number and say plus. What is happening? So, or you can just calculate 1447 divided by 2. So you can just get the half of the frame. You can get half of the frame. Please, I don't know who is actually click on this frame. If you can please allow us to do something to be better. So you can just get 1440 divided by 2. So, and then you get the half of this. But sometimes you can just get your count and then you get the half of it. So I'm going to place this here. I'm going to turn off my layout grid for now. So I'm going to turn it off. So this is actually the half of this. So now I want to design something like this because illustration already has taken half of it and the text is going to take half of it. So I'm going to use a different illustration from this. So I'm going to use what illustration? Sorry, I'm going to use font, not illustration. I'm going to illustration also. I'm going to use a different font from this one I use, and I want to use something to a different font to create the web. So all I have to do is just come here, type here, and put welcome to Career X. Welcome to Career X Youth Drive program. So this, I don't want to use the font I use for this. I want to use a different font. So I'm going to come here and then make search for a different font. So I'm going to look for a different font. So I'm going to use a font called Red Hat Display. So I'm going to use this font here, and I'm going to give this, I'm going to make it bold, like a title bold. So this one is carrying the setting for the mobile for this. So I'm going to set it for web. So I'm going to make it 32. So I'm going to make it 32. So this is actually good, but I'm going to reduce. So this is long. So I'm just going to reduce it a bit like this and click on the sign up, turn on my layout grid. So I'm going to, you can choose to make it longer like this. I think then if it's long, it's actually nice, but I need to get, yeah, okay, let's hook this text together. Here is 72 and here is 56. So it doesn't work how I have to do this, just to bring this. Let's see, double. Okay. I think making it double like this is actually nice. So I'm going to place it as center now. The center shows the space between here and the space between this here should be the same. So here I have, so how do I get this? All you have to do is just click on the element here, hold your Alt key, and then you will see, you'll get the, you get this red numbers, the spacing between each of them. So on the left hand side, I have 114, and on the right hand side, I have 72. So I have to arrange them. Sorry, I have to arrange them to be equal. So here I'm going to have 97. Here I'm going to have 89. So I'm going to arrange it here, 93, 93. Now you see here 93, and here is 93. So this is what I have. So the next thing I'm going to design is register your account. So I'm going to duplicate this, and then reduce it to maybe 20. And I'm going to use medium, and I'm going to reduce the opacity to lighter shade of gray. And I'm going to put it down. I'll change this text to be register your account. So I'm going to make here register your account, and I'm going to hug this text together. I'm going to place it here. So I'm trying to reduce this. So the thing, let's see, I think I'll have to remove the training. And I'll bring this in here. And I'm going to turn off this layer grid. So I'm going to say, okay, this is nice. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to create my input field, which is the full name, email, phone number, and password. So I'm going to bring this here, and I'm going to duplicate this. So once I duplicate this, I'm going to place this in here. I'm also going to duplicate it. So I think I like the size of this text. So I'm going to make here full name. And I'm going to leave it this way, and I'll come here and I'll change this to enter the full name. So once I make here your full name, I'm going to reduce this to regular, and I'm going to reduce this to 12. So once I reduce this to 12, and I'm going to add auto layout to it. So once I add auto layout, this is how it's going to look like. So it's taking the previous setting from the last auto layout that I did. So all I have to do is just to bring this way. So once I'm dragging it, you can see that the element, the text inside is actually at the center because of the settings here. So if I take it to here, this is how it will be. Yeah. Now if I increase this now like this now. So once I move this, this is how it's going to be, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Okay. But we don't want our input field to be very long like that. Though we want the width to be long, but we don't want the height to be very long. So the height we're going to use, 45. So I'll just come here and type my 45. And then I'll push this element to be at the left-hand side. So I'm going to come here and push it to the left-hand side. So once I push it at the left-hand side, this is how it's going to look like. So the next thing I'm going to do, now if I click out, you see that it's inside a box, but the box is not visible enough because there is no line and just white on a white plain background. So what will I do? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a stroke on this element, on this input field, to be like their own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this here, and I'm going to click on the stroke, and I'm going to go back here and give it a corner radius of 5, and I'm going to reduce. Now this stroke is too thick and it's too bold, so I'm going to come back here to this stroke, and I'm going to reduce it here, the color first, and then I'll scroll here, and then I'll reduce it to 0.5. So I'm going to reduce it to 0.5, at least for it to be faded and thin. So this is how it's going to look like, and I'm going to increase the opacity of the brightness of this text. So I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to get my color picker, and I'm going to pick this color. So I'm going to zoom in and then pick this color, and then I'll close it, because I want all my colors to be one pattern of color. So this is what I have, and I'm going to come here, and I'm going to hold these two, and then I'll make it auto layout. So once I'm done making it auto layout, I will have to bring it here to carry the same, to have the same line here. Then I'm going to click inside, and I'm going to scroll up here and put it in fill container. So once I put in fill container, I'm also going to make this fill container, and I'm going to hold this, and I'm going to drag it. So once I'm dragging it, that everything will just align together. And then I'll have to turn on my layout grid again. So once I turn my layout grid, remember this is already carrying the it's carrying 133, yeah, and 133 here. So I'm going to make the settings to be from here to here to be the same thing here. Sometimes you can choose to, if your text is long, you can choose to get your 70 here and 70 here. So if I add, for example, if I have a long, if I have a long, maybe a long text here, let's add program. Now, if I add this here, now you can say that this is 70, and I just want to have it long. I don't want to squeeze it. So all you have to do is to reduce it here, and then bring this, and then make it 70. So I'm going to add +7 here. So once I click here, here is 70, and here is 70. So what I did here, when I checked from here to here, it was giving me 77, and here was carrying number. It was carrying 6. It was carrying a number here. Let me undo what I did so you understand. So you not think it's magic. Okay, now, so when I check here is showing me 70, and here is showing me 77. So I don't have to start stretching to get 77. What I did was just to click on this rectangle here, come on this one, and then add +7. So if I add +7, it will cover the extra 7 space that I don't need here. So I just click on enter, and then it will just add up. Okay. And then when I click here, I will see that here is 70 and here is 70, which is actually good. I can then hold these two together and then make it auto layout. So once I make auto layout, so you can use let's remove it. So you can use your short key to just create auto layout here, space, and shift A to create auto layout. So if you want to learn how to use shortcut on your Figma, all you have to do is come here on this question mark here, help and resources, click on it, and then go to keyboard shortcuts, and this will come up. Then you learn how to use all your keyboard shortcuts. Okay, so let's continue. So the next thing I'm going to do is now I'm going to align this full name here. I'm going to move it to this place, and I'm just going to drag it to this place. So once I drag it, I'm just going to bring this here, and I'm going to turn off this layout grid so I can see what I'm doing. So once I'm done, I think this is actually longer than this part, and which is not what I want. So I'm going to bring this close here, take it this way, and I'm going to make this like this, because immediately I turn it off, it was actually looking big. So I'm going to move this to the center, and I'm going to hold this together and align to the center. I'm going to take it this way. So I have 76. So I'm going to make this half. So the half. So I'm going to turn on my layer grid to get the half number. So I think I will have to leave it this way. And I'm going to turn off my layer grid and align this to the center. So the space I have here is 78, and here I have 76. So I just make it 77. I think this is perfect, and I'll align to the center. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do, zoom in and then change this to the email address. So once I change to email address, I'm going to duplicate again. So once you duplicate, just bring it down. So yeah, you're going to change here to be enter your email address. So yeah, I'm going to say phone number. And yeah, you're going to be enter your phone number. So the next is going to be password. Enter your password. So this is what we have now. Time to arrange it before we create our button. So you can just use this pattern that says, maybe you can just show the user how it's actually going to look. So you can use this my pattern I did, or you can actually use this my pattern I did. So, but let's use this particular pattern because we're drawing our inspiration from here. So I'm just going to say, maybe I'm going to use my name. So I'm going to reduce this opacity. So I'm going to reduce it because I want it to be thin. So I think this is okay. I'm going to pick this color. I'll just come here, click on this enter address. I'll come here, click on this, and I'll come here and click on this. And then I'll come here and then paste the color I picked. So once I paste the color code I picked, then I'll come here and then show a random email. I'll just say John Deere. .com, and then I'll come here and just show a random phone number. Yeah, I'm going to show you a random phone number. So yeah, I'm going to show password, just the same way they did theirs. So this is what I have. So I'm going to arrange this. So I'm going to align to the left, and then I'll come here and then I'll arrange vertical spacing. So once I put vertical spacing, it's going to show that the space between the first and the second is 30, which is going to show here. So I'm going to hold this and I'll align to the center. So once I align to the center, everything is now centered. So if I check here 77, I also check here is now 77. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my color button. So now let's create our button just the same way we created this. So all I have to do is just come here, select my text, paste it, and then put sign up. So I'm going to put sign up here, and I'm going to make it semi-bold, and I'm going to use font size of 20, and I'm going to add auto layer. So once I add auto layer, this is how it's actually going to look like. So I add a fill color. So let's make it fill color of black. So, and let's change this to white. So our illustration, we determine the color that we are going to use. Remember, we are not building a particular product that I've given you the brown color. We are just learning how to build a UI screens using different random colors. Okay. So now this is how it's going to look like. And height, remember here we are using 45. So here you can use 50. And then give it a corner radius of 10. So let's go and get a illustration, because our illustration will determine the color that we are going to use. So before we go to get our color, let's create this. Let's create this icon. So we're going to get Google, LinkedIn, Facebook icon, and then create accounts with it. So before we go and look for illustration, so you can choose to duplicate this here, or you can choose to get a new text here and says create an account with, and then I'm going to increase this to be 14, and I'm going to just take this fig color. I think I like this color, and I'm going to make it medium. So I'm going to use this color, and this is how it's going to look like. Remember, it's not supposed to pass this straight line here. So what I need is illustration for Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google. Now this is where we have to work with our icons. So I'm going to right click, come to plugin, go to icon, click on it, wait for it to load. So once I wait for it to load, then I'm going to look for Facebook. So I'm going to get Facebook colored icon. I think this is okay. So this is okay. So I'm going to drag it down here. So it's actually big. I'm going to come here and then reduce it to 24, and then, and I'm going to, now this is one of the errors that many designers actually make, which is something that we can correct. So immediately your design, let's delete this out. Immediately your design change this way. All you have to do is delete it and then bring in new one. So once you bring new one like this, then you can just bring out what you want. So we have LinkedIn. You have LinkedIn. You can bring the LinkedIn like this way. Just drag it in. So all the elements and all the icon I'm bringing is actually very big. And then the last one is going to be Google. So once you bring it out like this, this is what you're going to do. So you're going to take it out. Now, this is how it's going to look like. Make sure the elements you are taking is together, and then you group it. Once you group, you just keep it this way. Then the next one is going to be LinkedIn. You group, and then you can use your scale to then reduce it. You bring it this way, and then the next one, you group it, and then you reduce it this way. I'm sorry, I was disconnected. Can you hear me now? I was disconnected.
Yes.
Sorry. So thank you for that message. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add this inside here, and this auto layout, align to the center, don't forget, and this here, and bring this inside here, hold this and align to the center. So this is what we are going to have, 1, 2, 3, then align them very well, hold here, and then with horizontal spacing. So I'm going to make them auto layout, and I'm going to hold this and then make it vertical spacing. So once I hold this way, I'm going to make it auto layout, and then I can come here. Now this red line here, I can come here to, showing me 0, I can just come here to create a spacing between them. So this is how it's actually going to look like, similar to what they already have. So I'm going to make my big spacing here, and now I'm going to place it here. So now let's go and get illustration, maybe school illustration for this place. So I'm going to go back to my community and then look for school illustration. So let's look for student illustrations. You can start dropping attendance link for them to write, take the attendance. Marvelous. Marvelous, drop your attendance sheets. Okay, so let's drop it. You guy cried and I came to you. And so what you're going to do on that attendance sheet, please write the name you register with on this boot camp and then give me feedback for today's class. Okay, so I'm going to get one of these illustration and just stop there. So which one are we getting? Which one are we using? Which one are we using? I'm a girl, so I'm going to use a girl illustration. So I'm going to open it. So let's come here and then get this. So I think I'm going to use this. Okay, I think I like this. Oh, this is actually confusing. So I'm going to get, okay, let's use this. So I'm going to get this and then I'm going to come back to my design and then I'll paste it. So once I paste it here, pasting. So once I paste it here, I'm going to reduce the, so I'm going to reduce the illustration and I'm going to bring it in here. So I think it's actually bigger. So I'm going to reduce it again. I'm going to paste it here at the center. I'm going to hold this rectangle and I'm going to get my color picker to pick this color. And I'm going to take out the background. So I think I'm going to remove the background. So let's remove the background. So you don't need to set your API keys again. That's already been setting. So all you have to do is just click on the elements, remove the background. So this is how it's going to look like. So now I've removed the background. This is how it's going to look like. Now let me pick a color here for my button. So all I'm going to do is just pick a color. So which color are we going to pick? Let's pick green. Let's pick this green. Hey, no. This green is too shouting. So let's just play around with the green color. So I'm going to play around with the green color. Is this green okay? Should we use yellow? This yellow is actually shouting. Okay, I think green is actually a good color for school education. So this is okay. So I'm going to reduce the space here. So let's reduce the space here. So I'm going to reduce this space here. So I'm going to make this and then reduce the space here first. So here it's showing me 30. So I'm going to make it 20. And I'm going to take this up a little bit to be 30. And this is what we have. So I'm going to bring this down. So this is what I have. And now we have our sign up. So I'm going to delete this. And then we have our sign up. So now I noticed that this image did not move immediately I moved this. So all I have to do is just to click on the image and then bring it inside my sign up frame. So once I move it, everything moves together. So this is it. So I have designed a mobile view and a web view sign up page. So this is what we have. Okay. So I'm going to stop my record now. So if you have questions, please ask your questions and then we can, once it's set 5:30, let's close the class. Let's end the class.